Hey, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite stories that can be found in II Chronicles chapter 20. And so this chapter opens up with Jehoshaphat getting word that a giant army is coming to attack them. And so with this message, he becomes alarmed. He calls the people together, he tells them to fast. Then they all come together to pray. And as he begins this prayer meeting, he worships the Lord for who he is. He says things like, "You are the God in heaven. You are strong and powerful." He says that no one who stands against you, God, can win. And then he remembers God's faithfulness to his people, all the times that he drove out those who came against his children. And he begins to acknowledge that this is a God who makes promises. This is a God who wants to be the center of the story. This is a God who is faithful to those who trust in him, that he always takes care of his children. And then he acknowledges the need that he is experiencing. He says, "God, we don't have power to face this army attacking us. We don't know what to do, but we're looking to you." The focus shifts off the circumstances and their own sufficiency to meet the circumstances, and it turns to the Lord and his greatness. As the people are praying, the Spirit comes on Jehazel and he speaks out. He says, "Do not be afraid. Do not lose hope because of this army." He reminds them that the battle is not theirs, but the battle is God's. He then gives them instructions to go face the army tomorrow. And he tells them not only when to go, he tells them where to go. He tells them where they're going to find the army. He also tells them how they're going to do this, that they are not going to have to fight. But he instructs them to go forward, to take their positions, and to stand firm. And the result of all of this would be that they would see the Lord deliver them. After hearing this word, Jehoshaphat humbly bows. He puts his face to the ground and he begins to worship the Lord. People begin to stand and speak loud praises to the Lord in a loud voice. And so the next morning, they start out early, and Jehoshaphat gives them a word of encouragement. He reminds them to have faith in God, to keep their eyes on their God, the one who is going to take care of them. And he then appoints men to sing to the Lord. And so they're not equipping themselves with certain weapons or with armor, but with worshipers. And these worshipers march in front of the army singing, "Give thanks to the Lord, for his love endures forever." And this is how they march off to battle. So they come to this place overlooking the desert. And as they look down into this valley, they see all of the people, the three armies coming toward them, that they start destroying each other. And it tells us that the valley was full of dead bodies and that not one person, not one of them, had escaped. So not only were the people of Judea physically safe and no one harmed, they walked away with an abundance. It says that they carried off things of value, all the supplies, and that it was more than they could take away. It took them 3 days to collect all of these valuable items. And then the people praised God. the result of all of this was that the other nations surrounding them, they had respect for God. And then Judah experienced peace and rest. God, he is not a respecter of persons. We see that he always takes care of those who trust him and those who obey him. And he always is really fighting for himself, for his story, and for his people. And he's not taking sides of one against the other. He wants us to come alongside him and be part of his story where he is the hero, he is the redeemer, he is the protector, and we get to engage with him. What leads the battle is our worship, because worship gives him lordship. I mean, he has lordship already, but it aligns our hearts with that. And the result of this is that God is respected. And when he is lifted high, we experience peace and we experience rest.